Hey everyone, it's Mary Ann Pizzatola from the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees. We are a nonprofit organization that is protecting and defending the rights of retirees' healthcare benefits. Today, I'm here at City Hall, the People's House, where people's business is supposed to happen, and the elected officials are supposed to be there to do the business of the people of this city, including the people that work for this city. Many of us are union, some of us are not. The one thing we had in common is that we all worked for the city of New York for our lifetimes, and we were also promised health care. We gave up years of wages, accepted reduced benefits, reduced salaries, and reduced pensions in order for the hopeful promise of health care in our retirement. We worked for our futures, and that's where we are today. Many of us are retired 20, 30, 40 years. Some of us are disabled. Some of us are 9/11 responders. Some of us are under 65. Many of us are over 65. I even have a retiree that's 102 years old. You see, our unions always protected us, always. But unfortunately, when you become retired, you are no longer in a union. You don't pay union dues, you don't collectively bargain, you don't vote on contracts, and you don't elect officials. Many of us who are not union don't even have that luxury. Yesterday, a union executive director, Henry Garrido from DC 37, went on News 1, a non-union organization, on a segment inside New York that was sponsored by Aetna, a non-union organization, to push a healthcare plan on retired union labor that many of our doctors will not accept. It is an inferior healthcare plan to the traditional public health benefit of Medicare. Unfortunately, our former unions, most of them, do not agree with what's happening. However, because of the undemocratic construct of the Municipal Labor Committee, they are outnumbered by the DC 37 and United Federation of Teachers vote on that board. Yesterday, Mr. Garrido went on to New York One with Errol Lewis and spewed lies about the retirees, Councilman Charles Barron, and the health care plan in which he wishes to force us into in order to benefit him and his active workers. Our organization, the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees, denounces Mr. Garrido. If he were a real union leader, retirees wouldn't have had to organize and come together. We are approximately 250,000 retirees that they wish to put down every opportunity they get. Except we were taught by real labor leaders. The Daily News describes Mr. Garrido as a union boss. Well, in the typical negative connotation of everything that implies. However, Councilman Charles Barron of District 42 in Brooklyn is a true hero to us because he stood up for us when no one else would. He introduced legislation that would protect retiree health care and make sure that we could stay in the public health benefit of Medicare. With him are councilpersons Lynn Shulman from Queens, Ina Vernikov, Linda Lee, Alexa Velez, Shahana Hanif, Chris Marte, Shekhar Krishnan, Joanne Ariola, Vicky Palladino, Ari Kagan, and Christian Richardson Jordan. Right now, those are the 12 sponsors of our legislation. And we know that more council persons are going to get behind that legislation because they know that our former unions sold us out to finance themselves. And that is never something we thought we would ever say. We have sued the city several times, and we are going to continue with the litigation that we have. But we know that every time we won in court, our former unions did something dastardly and came out against us and went around the judge's decision. Today, we thank Councilman Barron for going to the mats for us because no one else did. He had to protect us when our former unions were trying to steal our health care benefits and put us into an inferior managed health care plan, privatizing the public health benefit of Medicare by Aetna. And again, as we said, we are more than in touch with the labor movement. For a group of retirees from all over the country that are retired New York City labor to unite under one organization and come together to fight this injustice, that says labor. And unfortunately, Mr. Garrido doesn't have that same power. I think he's jealous of what we've been able to do and that we knew what he was doing to us in taking our healthcare benefit. We are more in touch with the labor movement than Mr. Garrido or District Council 37 because they keep trying to justify stealing healthcare benefits or earned and paid for benefits earned by a New York City public employee that retired 20, 30, 40 years ago. We are the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees. We thank Councilman Charles Barron and the other council members that have so far come to support our bill since Thursday. We stand united with the 250,000 retirees behind us and denounce what our former unions have done to us. Unions are supposed to be strong, honorable, transparent, and protecting of their most vulnerable population. They're aged and they're infirm, and not sell us off like an old pair of shoes. Please help us stand behind Councilman Barron and the other council members in your districts. Also, before I close, the New York Post, shame on them as well. They are also anti-labor and have come out against what we are doing and Councilman Barron is supporting. That we do not support at all. They like to say that this bill will tear a hole in the budget, and that's not true either, because our healthcare has been funded since 1967 because of a statute, because of a law passed by this very body behind me, the New York City Council in 1967. And unfortunately, our own unions took that money to finance themselves and claim that there's no money to fund our legislation. It didn't need to be. It was already codified in law. That's theft. Our money should remain where it is and should not be moved to finance today's workers, as deserving as their raises or insurance benefits are. Our workers, Henry Garrido's workers, DC 37's workers, are the lowest paid workers in the city of New York and the lowest paid pensioners in the city of New York. And that includes your council persons, the mayors, everyone that used to work for the city. However, DC 37's retirees and employees are your crossing guards, are your lunch ladies, are your laborers. These people valiantly, loyally serve the city of New York and their unions for decades, and they do not deserve this. Thank you.